Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast. So, in my last forecast, which I believe was about a week ago, actually, we talked about a strange weather pattern that would impact the United States. And since then, I haven't made another forecast, mostly because I was working on that case study. I'm quite proud of that, so if you want to check that out, please do. But what we had happening is a high pressure system up here in Canada, and a weird system of three low pressure systems, one here, one somewhere around here, and one somewhere around here, kind of in a line, which is pretty strange to see. But here's our line of low pressure systems and our high pressure system ridge in the north. This is more the timing of it, but you can kind of see same thing here. High pressure right over here. Here's our high, low over here, low here, and low here. It's kind of in a line. And this is actually going to be bringing some severe weather to the United States Friday and Saturday. So the SPC page has issued a day two outlook right here. So 2% tornado risk here in Texas. Not the main risk. It's mostly for hail. And for the day three outlook, just a little slight risk near this region down here. Probably for some tornadoes, maybe. Um, so this is going to be impacting on Friday, right? So this low pressure system is very negatively tilted. That's something I talked about in one of my last videos. Essentially, low pressure is tilted more towards the left or the west, and that's more favorable for severe weather conditions. If I move back to Friday's risk, which is the main risk here, you also see that same negatively tilted trough right here, as well as something we call defluence, which is when winds above the surface. Right now I'm at 500 millibars, or about 5,000 feet. That's when winds above the surface diverge. So essentially, there's not as much air in these pockets here. It's little pockets of divergence. So the atmosphere brings air up from the surface to fill these pockets, which leads to rising motion and potential storms. That's our main mode of development with this system here. So we're gonna see a little warm front here. I'm gonna get a little closer and look at the NAM-NST model as well. So you can see under here, let me draw our lines because I was told people like that. Here's Texas again, and we've had a lot of activity near Texas in the South in general. So here's our little state borders: Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, and Texas. The rough estimates right there. Um, we've had a lot of activity down here because of El Nino, and that is when the Pacific low pressure system essentially creates this jet right in here, make it a better color for viewing purposes. Essentially, there's this jet of storms and precipitation that's going to be impacting this whole region, the whole South, making conditions drier for up here in the Midwest near Illinois and that area. So right now, all there really is to talk about is this low pressure system forming tomorrow, aka Friday, in Texas. So it's a little bit hard to see here, but our low pressure system is most likely somewhere over here, rotating. It's kind of broad, but it's bringing in flow from the Gulf of Mexico. We can see here on the dew point temperature a lot of moisture in Texas. And what we have here is a thing called the dry line. So I haven't really got an opportunity to talk about this too much because of the fact that there hasn't really been many dry lines setting up. But there's a dry line of drier air here in New Mexico, indicated by these 30s and 40s dew points, and much more saturated air here in Texas with the blues and the greens at 50s and 60s, right in this section of the meter here. So essentially what will happen is this is a very slow moving front. So if I move frame by frame, you can see it's pretty stagnant. So the drier air will undercut the warm moist air. Imagine this is our dry air. So our moist air will go up rising, and that's how we get storm development right here in the dry line. So there could be a few discrete storms that form here, and the main risk with them is hail, just because of, there shouldn't be too much instability or shear here. Um, Even so, here there's not much instability in the atmosphere at all. Right now, I'm looking at CAPE values, which will tell me again how much instability is there, and there's just not very good CAPE values. You can look at the HRRR model, which is it's a very high resolution product for seeing storm development. But same thing, there's just a little region of possible hailstorms. They're all gonna be very elevated. I'm going to take a sounding from one of these as well, just to kind of see the environment, and I'll break down the sounding. The storm development is about I believe 9 o'clock in the afternoon. into the evening. So this sounding I'll tell me what I want to know. And there's not really good shear here, right? Not much cape. And we can see here like very low cape values. So it's basically if it happens, we can get a little bit of hail risk, but otherwise nothing too severe with this outcome here. And it could have been more severe if there were better cape values, but it's also, it's more of the winter months still. Storm season isn't ramping up quite yet, although it is beginning to ramp up. And essentially, it's just not warm enough for storms to really fire how they do in the summer months. The other main things this storm system will bring is probably some warmer temperatures for this region here. If I look at the surface map here, it'll tell me temperature amounts. This high pressure system is located up here in Canada somewhere at the moment. Essentially, what that usually means is warmer temperatures for the country. So high pressure will bring warmer temperatures. Low pressure, not so much. But you can see here in the Dakotas and Nebraska, that's a lot warmer than usual, right? Usually wouldn't expect to see, moderate 40s in February for this region. Usually this is just under a bunch of snow and stuff like that. But for now, it's a high pressured system kind of dominating up here. It'll move out pretty soon. We can see the 500 millibar map. High pressure right here. We'll get, oops, we'll get sent off after a little while. Right now, it's pretty stagnant. The Euro model will show a little bit further in time. So that's where the high pressure system kind of gets emerged into the main flow. And then we won't have those warmer temperatures as much. And moving on into the later days, it'll be a lot more uncertain. Other than that, again, pretty moderate temperatures across the United States. I don't like to look at temperature all that much, but we'll see what happens with it. I don't think there should be much, nothing too unique with this whole pattern at the moment. So that's kind of the answer, but it was kind of interesting to see how the GFS model from all those days back was able to forecast that low pressure, low pressure, low pressure, and then a high pressure in the north. That was quite a way out. That was over a week in advance. So it's an important lesson for me as my meteorological journey continues. With that, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next forecast.